Arteta wanted and what Edu offered, because I
To
bet you
be fair,
some.
didn't Edu get us Odegaard? I
Yeah,
know people are onto him now, but
well, Edu got us Odegaard, but he also was the driving force behind Partey and Gabriel, which I think I said that on the show the last time. He wanted more physical players, and so we ended up with that, which was great. But I do think Arteta is really driving the Zubamendi instead of like whatever. I'm sure Edu had his choice, and he wanted, you know, Arteta wants Zubamendi, so we're just staying on Zubamendi. He wants Nico Williams, so we're just staying on Nico Williams. Um, that's so problematic. There needs to be somebody else in the room that one knows how to operate quickly and can identify talent and get Arteta things that are similar, but that still have a lot of talent. And we just seem not to be able to find whatever that talent gap is. We can't find it. We can't find it.
there's
Because
too
Nico
much
Williams,
unique stuff.
yeah, Nico Williams is a good player, but he's not so unique that you couldn't grab someone else. You know what I mean?
To be in a situation like, and again, I do think there's a lot of weight in this, but I think it's one where if people keep reading these comments, it sounds like it makes sense. It's actually not on. Like, it's actually not on. Look at, obviously injuries have exaggerated the situation, but we were saying this when everyone was fit. Are we really that good of a side? Are we a prime Barcelona, Arsenal, Chelsea side that nobody, Nico Williams, this one, that one, nobody could come in? Our options are a past it Raheem Sterling, big up Ethan, but he's a young G and it's way too much to put on a man's shoulders. Kai Havertz, who's 12th for goals in the Premier League, which you're doing all you can, Kai. I'm not even getting at you. It's how it's assembled. No Bukayo Saka. Really, it doesn't make sense. And this is why I feel we'll never know, but people got to have common sense, man. And it kind of brings us on to this just as we wrap up. What do you make of this? Sammy Mokbel has said there is a sense at Arsenal that they're gearing up for an unprecedented summer. Unprecedented.
Well,
Choice word.
uh, listen. After we got knocked out by Bayern, they said we were looking at Isak and Olise, and we ended up with
You're
Raheem
being
Sterling.
kind. They were looking at players with X factor.
Yeah,
Sterling.
I'm just like, I already know this is bullshit.
No,
I
he's 12th for goal. He's 12th in the list. He doesn't. I didn't say he had 12 goals, but yeah, go on.
and the fact that we don't have a player in the top 10 for goals ever in like the last 2 seasons is wild. But um
Saka went there.
I don't think Saka was there last season. If he was the only one. And yeah.
Probably is.
But yeah, this is bullshit. This kind of stuff comes out every time that we go out, and they want to keep us, like, they corral us and make us feel better about shit. But I guarantee the summer starts off with needing to sell. And if we need to sell before it even starts, you might as well just go on your vacations and pack it up, because it's not going to be good. But unprecedented, and even if they do get all their targets, because like the attainable ones, let's say they get Nico Williams and Sesko, we're never getting Isak and Dubamendi. Is that really unprecedented? Let's be honest.
For us, 100%. But I would say fair enough. I'd like to think I'm a fair man. I would say fair enough. Now there's zero to no excuses. But then, as you know, fans want to be accountants. People are going to be like, "Oh, Havertz is on 200 odd grand." And what are we going to hear? Even if you want all of them guys, what did we hear in January? Oh, Gabriel Jesus is on the wage bill. If you got Sesko in the summer, you would have had Kai Havertz, Sesko, and Gabriel Jesus on the wage bill. So it sounds good. But if you actually think, and again, we can't always be right, but if you actually think, it's not making sense. But the thing is, the majority of people are sheep. They're not critical thinkers. What do you make of this? With supporters desperate for a signing, interim sporting director Jason Ito could easily have made himself an instant hero by sanctioning moves for either Matthias Tell or Morata. But talk to those whose opinions matter at Arsenal, which is a bit shady from Sammy Mokbel. They'll tell you Ito's considered approach has impressed and is one that's aligned with the club's long-term strategy. Ito is understood to have improved his standing among those behind the scenes at the Emirates since his internal appointment. What do you make of that? Because for me, that just tells me you're singing from the same hymn sheet. But what do you make of him? What do you make of that? And what do you make of, in theory, if we could have got a Tell or Morata, would you have gone for that? Especially Morata.
I mean, he is definitely setting himself up for a fat paycheck, because he is pivoting from like a video analyst and then Edu's number 2 to the sporting director at Arsenal Football Club. So of course he's going to sing from the same hymn sheet. Of course he's going to keep the powder dry. The only two options he could come up with was not getting Tell and not getting Morata, but holding talks with Juan Garcia. The long-term thought process for the Cronkies is to maintain top four and
Stack
not,
notes and act broke, man.
yeah, and be self-sustaining. And so he's done that basically. He's made sure that they kept whatever powder dry and done fuck all in that whole summer or January window. So whatever. But in terms of Morata and Tell, when those are your only two options, again, I would have taken Tell just because he's a talented young player. And if they're like Spurs has the opportunity to buy him in the summer, and I would have liked to have, somebody like that, in the team that can play across the front three that's extremely talented that you can get for like 50, 60 million in the summer. That would be interesting to me more than Morata. But we didn't get him and we did nothing, and it should never get to that. Morata or Tell, because these are options that you can't
Would you
even.
have taken Morata in January for real?
No, I would have paid the extra 20 million for Ollie
No,
Watkins.
I would have asked you that.
No,
Morata is the only thing
no,
we can do. You're not
no,
having it.
no, I
God
wouldn't.
forgive me. I'm doing that. Like if I would have done it just to tie us to the end of the season because we ain't got nothing else. I am not trying to gas up Morata. Once I believed in him, now I don't. But we're down to our bare bones. Like Kai is struggling both in terms of the football and the injuries. We've now lost Martinelli. Jesus is gone. Saka, they're doing the stuff about him going to be back. You wouldn't have taken Morata. He might be dead. He might be dead food, as somebody said. But really,
He's
really,
gonna score even less goals for us than he's scoring for.
we need a body, man.
Yeah, if there was a body, I would have preferred it to be at least a young player with upside.
Nah,
Sorry.
yeah, no, I hear that, and you're right. I'm just asking you, Morata. It's Morata or nothing. Morata on loan. Are you doing that in Jan?
No. No.
You wouldn't have taken like a risk-free. It's always a risk with Morata, but a loan. And I am not trying to endorse Morata. And we were at this stage now, Jess. We know we're at this stage, and it shouldn't be a question. But would you have taken him on loan?
You still have to have some standards, though. Like, let's be honest.
You know what? Sometimes you can't have shame. You're not in a position to have shame. It's like if you're, big up everyone that's stressing over jobs and whatnot, and a job's a job. We're not job shaming. But let's just say I'm trying to get a job. I've got bills, there's pressure, there's this and that. In my opinion, you've got to do anything to get paid. If you could get an office job, working McDonald's, clean toilets, you can't afford to have pride, quote unquote. I'm on it. I can't lie to you. I'm on it. I know it's 2025. I know it sounds mad. I'm on it for 6 months. I'm down for it. It's gonna be horrible. Kai Havertz, Morata, they're gonna make me pull my hair out. But I'm on it. I'm therefore on that. I can't lie to you. Beggars can't be choosers, bro. It's peak. It should never get there. Me, I personally ain't got no names, Jess. But for me, if you can bid 40 million for Ollie Watkins and that's not enough, that tells me you've got 40 million to play around with and at least get a project player. Cool. We can pivot from the striker to the winger. Even the whole logic around the striker in that. Again, I'm no expert, but I thought going into this market, you need an inside forward. You can maneuver with Kai Havertz. Then obviously Jesus' injury. The talk is around the striker. It starts getting mad, man. It really does. Like we are doing madness. And what do you make of this? Somebody said something. Where's the? Oh, I can't find it. Somebody said something about Sesko and Kai Havertz, and I'm not even trying to make it about them. But Sesko, everyone will be gassing it. I have to ask you about Zubamendi. Couple more things before we head over to her platform. People, make sure you follow us over there. Martin Zubamendi looks certain to arrive from Real Sociedad as Arsenal prepare for the expected midfield departures of Jorginho and Partey. They will explore a move for a versatile attacker too with Nico Williams and Cunha. Apparently, Cunha's actually got a 60-odd million release clause, and apparently it's no secret the dream ticket is at, given the cost believed to be in excess of 100 million. A successful swoop appears plausible, but at the very least, Arsenal exploits validity. There's a lot of money that's a lot of money and a lot of wages. This sounds like a fallacy, but where are you at?
Well, yeah, it says Isak is implausible. So I think he's saying it cannot be done. Right?
That's 60-odd million quid as well for Cunha.
So the Zubamendi thing, it is what it is. If this was 2 years ago, I'd be a lot more excited about it. In 2025,
might not even get him. Real Madrid are onto him apparently.
Well, it is what that would be hilarious to me. I'm not even gonna lie. Like you briefed it to make people happy, and then you don't even get him. That's so Arsenal. But the Cunha versus Nico Williams thing. If it's 60 million and you asked me if it's either one. In the summer, I'd probably go for Cunha,
over
provi-
Nico Williams.
provided we still get a striker. Because I don't view Cunha as an out and out striker. We still need that. We just need one player that we can look at that says you bring goals. Cunha brings goals, but he also brings all around shit. And we need to, like, no matter, even if Jesus is on the wage bill, he's going to be out for a long ass time. So it's not
Respectfully,
like,
he's irrelevant because he's got an ACL issue. Like it's at where
exactly.
you're at.
But we
And
should
half of
still,
these players are going to be off the wage
yeah,
bills. The Tierney's, the Jorginhos, the
yeah,
Parties, the Zinchenko's.
yep.
Bro, there's no
We should-
excuses, man.
Exactly. So we should just replace him anyway, regardless, because that you still need to replace him. Stop it.
I big up the
So,
dog. See, the dog's not listening to your comments around Cunha over Nico Williams, man.
but I do think that Cunha would be a better signing than Williams at this stage. But I guess
But you was heavy on the Nico Williams propaganda. Like, what was changed?
yeah. I mean, I like him, but if I have to choose between the two of them, I'd choose Cunha.
You don't think
Cunha,
Nico Williams more addresses our immediate need, being devil's advocate?
mm, I would
Because
potentially.
go on.
Well, our immediate need is actually goals. And he actually doesn't solve that. He solves the need for a more creative winger, somebody unlike Martinelli, who has a little bit more of like that versatility to his game, somebody that can create a little bit and beat his man and stuff like that. But the immediate problem I feel like is actually goals. He doesn't solve that like at all. So when I look at our summer window, we won't get it, but we actually need to replace Gabriel Jesus and get a striker and get a winger. We
See,
won't
it's
get our
mad when we have to replace players that shouldn't even need
yeah.
replacing. But like, as dumb as it sounds, like you really reckon Cunha, for me, I always think I'm having Cunha. He's Premier League proven, and he can obviously. I don't want to see him play up front, but can play up front, can play in Odegaard's role. Definitely with the Odegaard we're seeing right now, and obviously can play off the left. But you don't feel like it's another versatile player that can play everywhere. At least with Nico Williams, and I'm purely being devil's advocate. That is an out and out left winger. Whether he's going to be good or not, that man is going to play off the left.
Yeah. No, I definitely hear that. If I had to choose just based on what I think is going to happen in the window, though, Cunha is looking a lot more interesting to me than Nico Williams if we can only get two attackers. But I totally hear what you're saying. And it also depends on if he has the release clauses are quite similar and one is like 50 and the other one is 60. At that stage too, you're talking about 10 more million for a player that's probably just a little bit more ready to like make a real impact. Like Nico Williams can make an impact, but I don't know.
And Arteta seemed to have wanted him. And do you know what? It's weird, yeah, because obviously we hear 1 minute Sesko's release clause has been moved and then it's not yet. But it seems like obviously we've signed players without a release clause, but Sesko allegedly there's a gentleman's agreement or a release clause. Cunha, there's a release clause. Who's the other one? Zubamendi, there's a release clause. So it's like if you sweep them up, gas them to sign for you, look, watch the pennies. It is what it is. But then all good players are in high demand. Like, we're not going to have a free run at Sesko. We didn't have a free run last year. It seemed like he was on joining us ahead of United and Chelsea, but it makes you question like what we're actually doing. Of course, nobody knows. And finally, just go on.
If
Go on,
there's
go on.
competition, we will struggle. That's the truth.
This is an absolute madness. Cunha's wages are definitely lower. Well, I'm not pocket watching, but we all know Nico Williams is on some big bad paper, and that's why I'm a bit pessimistic on either Cunha or Nico Williams. Sesko, what's the other one? Zubamendi. Zubamendi's not going to be the highest wage earner, but you're going to have them two coming on decent money. You've still got Jesus. You've still got Kai Havertz. You've still got Declan Rice and all of these guys. You're still going to have to find money to renew the deals of definitely Bukayo Saka, William Saliba, and Gabriel Magalhaes. I suppose Martinelli the same. Of course, you could say if you get rid of Nelson, Tierney's on 100k, he's gone. Who else is there? Partey, all of them. There's a lot to do, as just said earlier. Like, it's a bit mad. My final one for you. We've been linked with another name, which is a bit weird because he's an Argentine playing in Italy for an Italian club. Reports have come out of Spain. Arsenal are believed to be lining up a bid in the region of 100 million for Inter Milan striker Lautaro Martinez.
Oh, Lord, Jesus. Yeah.
We need your thoughts, man. We need your thoughts. You're the guest here. They don't want to hear my thoughts.
If we go and drop 100 million, on Lautaro Martinez, which I'm so glad that's a bad source anyway. What the fuck are we doing?
You wouldn't have him. If there's no Jokeres, there's no Sesko, Isaac Smith. We got 100 million. The club are committed to Lautaro Martinez. Are you pressing the red button?
I mean, if there's nothing else, yeah. But it shouldn't be nothing else. Like, we should be going into the summer window with so many options available to us. If we end up overspending on Lautaro Martinez, I mean, just shut the doors, close the doors, like pack it up, flat screen. Like it's get it, just everybody go. Like there's just no reason. But
I'm at the point, fuck it, man. Let's just do it now, man. Like we just fuck it.
no,
Like, it's
I
not my
hear
bread.
you. I hear you.
Man said lost faith in Deluded after this. What the hell did I do? Like, okay, you lost faith in me. Okay, great. What did I do?
You didn't even do anything.
What the hell did I do? All right, cool. You know what? Like, lose faith in the guy, man. You know what? They love you, then they hate you, then they love you again. Before we get out of it, I know I've been saying this bare and we're running it late, yeah. Devil's advocate. Could we now have an advantage where the Prem and the champs are, because we're out of all the trophies now? There's one game a week. We're going to Dubai. Can we win one of these major honors? Is this a boost? I have to be one of them, man. I can see the look you're giving me, but I have to be one of them, man. I have to. People want to know.
Fish to fry is 2025 is insane. I mean, if we were in a good period and we had all the things that we needed and we just went out of the Carabao Cup to a good side, and we did go out to a good side, but we had actually played well and stuff like that, they just beat us, then I could look at that half glass full thing. But the reality is, if you can't beat Newcastle and Aston Villa, then you're not going to be able to beat teams in the Champions League once we get to those knockout rounds. You're not beating any Barcelonas or Real Madrids or Bayerns or any of those. We struggle with Porto.
Some say we've got more of it. Some people said, obviously, before this City game and this week, based on how it's gone, that we've got more of a chance in the champs than the Prem.
Well, we have more chance in Champions League than in the Premier League right now because the reason why you can say it is because we haven't had an embarrassing result in the Champions League yet. It's like the unknown. You can just, like, people before the season started says, I think it's our year for the Prem. I think it's our year, because nothing had started.
Bring on Madrid and all of that.
So people are only saying that because they know that the Premier League is gone. So yeah, then the Champions League, because idealistically, we're not the type of team that even if we get on that easier side of the bracket, we won't shit the bed against a shitty side. We just don't have what it takes in games where you have to do or die. And until we show that, it doesn't matter what we're trying to win, we won't win it. We won't win it.
And that's where I'm at as well, Jess. It's like, for me, I still think the Prem, I'm still of that thought, like, you've got to bully your own league before you go abroad. I think the margin, this ain't me saying we're going to win the Prem. I just think there's slightly more margin and more opportunities in the Prem than the champs. You have to be perfect. And I don't know who we're going to get in the latter stages. And I'm also we played Newcastle in our place, but I'm kind of shook of whoever we're going to play away from home in the champs. I just feel, because there's going to be a moment where the pressure is off. Maybe the footballing gods just shine a light on us. We win at Anfield. We win at St. Mary's. Liverpool, Moyes does us a favor. I don't believe this, but I can see more causes for optimism than the champs. The champs, I don't think there's a hiding place, and there's still some big boys in there. So, boy, it is what it is, man.
Away from home at Lens. These boys were shook away from home at Lens. Like, if we have to go away to the Italian side, yeah, we have a chance to play two. Like, people, Juventus and AC Milan are not good sides right now. They
said that about Bayern. What happened? It's still Bayern. It's still Inter. Like, and again, not to diss Mikel Arteta, but if somebody, because you mentioned Inter, it's Simeone and Inzaghi, in which Arteta, you did very well against them. We got a dodgy penalty. When it's not working, whatever we're doing, the gaffer, unfortunately, isn't going to switch things up. He will switch things up. Gasperini will fix things up. The less said about Real Madrid, the better. Barcelona are not Barcelona, but if they make it an open gunfight, which Hansi Flick seems to do, oof, and there's no Bukayo Saka, yeah, he might be fit. And I love Ethan, and I love Lewis Kelly, and I have no doubt that they'll be two of the better players, but it'll be mad. Somebody in the comments said, if Arteta won the Champions League, give the man a statue. I'm a fair man, give the man a statue, but it's looking like a trophyless one. But on that note, though, we're overrunning. The good news is we're heading over to Jess's platform. If they don't know where they can find you, let them know, man.
Yeah, just she knows Arsenal in the search bar, and also it's in the title. You can just click it, and we'll be live in like 2 minutes.